shit. So welcome to my live where I talk about things that are amazing. You know what I mean? Tap the screen. You should be tapping with all your fingers. I want y'all tapping the screen like this. If you got shoes on, take them off and tap with your toes. We're trying to get to 10 million likes. All right. 10 million likes, 80,000 million shares. All right. I'm not fucking around. All right. Look, but awaits full acceptance. All right. So for everybody that just joined, peace and love and light. How you doing, Maryland? Ooh, Obanaga, you know me for real. Peace to you, right? We're talking about delusions and illusions and a bunch of other things. Many of us have surrendered to and accepted falsehoods and turned them into our truth. These falsehoods have placed the majority of the Earth's population in a perpetual state of servitude and inferiority. I just bought your book a few days ago. Shout out to you, Nani. I appreciate it. Hey, look, shout out to everybody that's supporting. If we want to get the truth out there, the best way to do it is to support each other. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right. Majority of the world is suffering from servitude and inferiority. This is because the grandeur that you feel is a delusion is really the truth. A lot of people that don't like you, they'll say, "Ooh, delusions of grandeur." Like, have you ever heard that? Delusions of grandeur. The grandeur is true. You are great. Put a one in the comments if you're amazing, great. If you're wonderful, if you're talented, if you're special, if you're beautiful, if you're handsome, if people love you, if you could take over the world like with your talent, you don't have to take over the world by subjugating people. You could take over the world by being who you are, and you go out there and everywhere you go, people admire you and love you for being you. That's taking over the world. You know what I mean? Your world, right? Shout out to everybody that put a one. Y'all are beautiful and I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. We're trying to get to 10 million likes. Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. The only time y'all need to stop tapping is when y'all start typing. You feel me? This is Rashaud Poet. Somebody's been lying. And it's not y'all. Y'all are in here because y'all are truth tellers. And I respect y'all for it. All right. New faces in here. I appreciate you. Where'd you find the live? Somebody sent it to you? Or y'all just see me on the FYP being amazing, all right? I don't know which one happened, but I appreciate y'all for being here. When you decided to give up your power and your greatness, you have to take heed of who you surrender to. All right. Many of you will fight over a parking spot or the last piece of something, but we're willing to give up your entire self. Do you think that when you gave up your power, somebody else didn't take it for themselves? Do you believe that when you gave up your greatness, that you didn't leave room for someone to become greater than you are? You know what I mean? When you gave it up, you don't think somebody took it, right? If you give up your greatness, you don't think you gave it up and left room for somebody to take that shit? You don't think that there's somebody living in your spot when you give up your greatness? You know what I mean? You got dreams. Put a one in the comment if you got dreams, goals, and aspirations that you know if somebody else got their hands on, they would take advantage of it. A lot of people have dreams, goals, aspirations, and all these beautiful, amazing things, and they don't act on it, but it goes into the universe. It goes into the ethers, the collective consciousness. Somebody else grabs it. Your ass is sitting on the couch. Now you watch TV and you see somebody with your idea. Now you got to look over at your friend and be like, yo, that was my idea. Of course it was. But the universe gave it to somebody that was going to. Voids get filled. I can guarantee you the individuals who received your power and greatness were the first to convince you that you weren't powerful or great, right? So once I take your greatness from you because you gave it up, you don't think I'm going to turn around and tell you, hey, you're not great. You're not who you think you are. Delusions of grandeur. You don't think I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that you're a piece of shit after I took everything that made you great from you? Huh? Right? I can guarantee you the individuals that received your power and greatness are the same individuals using their true delusion of grandeur to motivate themselves into keeping you down. Always remember that I cannot pull you down from above you. I can only lift you up or kick you down. Whether I decide to pull you up or kick you down, I'll have to look you in the eyes. For those below you who grab at your ankle to pull you down swiftly, you will be lucky to catch a glimpse. Subjugate. This shit gets real. All right. Everybody write this in the comments. Hey, look, I'm not trying to be your boss. I keep telling y'all. but when I tell you what to do, you should do it. Hey, I got your best interest at heart. Write subjugate in the comments. We got to keep these things in mind. Hey, don't worry about my fingers. I don't feel like cutting them. I broke one of them, so I might have to cut them soon. But it is what it is. At least they're clean, right? Hey, look, subjugate. Everybody type subjugate in the comments. If you don't know how to spell, it's on the screen. I'm driving, Rashaud. Well, pull over. You don't have nowhere to be but in my live. All right? That's that. You don't have nowhere to go but here. The universe brought you here. All right? For a goddamn reason. Oh, brass prophet, peace. All right, subjugate. What is that? Conquer. Ooh, a country. Subdue. Yoke. Hey, look. Yoke is yoke. When y'all think of yoke, what do y'all be thinking of? I know y'all heard of yoke before. When y'all hear the word yoke, not eggs, right? When y'all hear the word yoke, what does it make you think of? Subjugal, right? Owing obedience. Bring under the yoke. What does the yoke make y'all think of? Yoke and hey, Tay, you a gangster? Let me find out. I ain't never knew. Okay, Lila said union. Lola says equally. Purple says subjugate. Okay, you just catching up. Now I know I told your ass not to say egg yolk, but I'm gonna forgive you this time because you might have just got here. All right, I forgive you. All right, bring under the yoke. Right, situated below the jugglebone. Uh-oh. These same people who stole your power and your greatness have made it their primary goal to keep you subjugated for as long as they can. This subjugation is what forces you into a mind state of being lesser than who you truly are. And this goes to everybody. I know y'all be feeling like, oh, white power, black power, whatever the case may be. But I promise you, if you go by a color, you got played. Put a 1 in the comments if you call yourself a color. Oh my goodness. If you call yourself a color, put a 1 in the comments. And I just want you to know that you've been played. All of y'all. Everybody. Used to be a nation. All right. All right. This is where it gets crazy. The subjugation is what forces you into the mind state of being lesser than who you truly are, and even as low as a beast. These unrighteous beings have subdued you, yoked you up, and given you back to the world as a subject. Uh-oh. Right? Jugular, right? Jugabone. Jugular, pertaining to the throat or neck, right? They yoked you up by the neck. God damn, they grabbed you by the collar, made you scream and holler. Y'all ever heard? Y'all remember that? I don't want to be a criminal no more. Y'all remember that? All right. And both subjugate and jugular, you see the pi root is yug, right? And I added the etymology of jugular just in case you were wondering where exactly they were holding you as they yoked you up. They grabbed you by the neck, right? Once they were able to subjugate you, you subsequently became many versions of submissive, subdued, subpar, subservient, subjective, and subordinate, right? Damn, they subbed you, right? You see what's happening here? Once they, you see, do y'all see the connection? They played y'all, right? Tap the screen, yo. We're trying to get to 10 million likes. Share the live with everybody you know. Share it with your grandma. Share it with your mama. Share it with your brothers and your kinfolk. Get everybody in here. It's a party. Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. Stop fucking around. 10 million likes, we got a long way to go. So y'all need to use your fingers and your toes and maybe even your nose. If your fingers start hurting, use your knuckles. All right. Ain't no excuses in this live. Right. This subjugation is the reason why our conscious mind and subconscious struggle for balance as well. We spoke about trust before. And just as much as we have been taught slash trained to not trust anyone else, we have also been trained to not trust ourselves. My granny don't have TikTok. Well, I need you to tell her right now, Granny, download TikTok. I need you to listen to the realest shit you ever heard. Tell her. Tell her right now, Tay, don't leave the live, but find a way to tell your grandma, dear grandma, I need you to download TikTok right now at the app store On her flip phone, yes, I need her to flip her phone to the side and call her carrier so she could tell them to get her a new phone so she could download TikTok right now and come listen to my live. Our subconscious mind is heavily influenced by the thoughts that we think of more frequently or with more passion. Passion is crazy. All right. Everybody type passion in the comments. Y'all don't know nothing about this passion shit, but I'm going to tell y'all right now. A lot of people fall victim to passion. People get into these weird conversations like, oh, no, it's because I'm passionate. But you don't even know what passion means. All right. I'm going to tell y'all right now. If it was up to me, people would stop using passion as a word to express how they feel, unless they have no emotional control. Right. That's just if it was up to me. Right. And y'all got to trust me because I know what I'm talking about. I'm reading a book. You know what I mean? Ain't that what that means? I'm reading a book, so I just kind of know what I'm talking about, right? By now, we are all aware of the dangers that come with passion, right? Because I talked about passion earlier in the book, right? I can't find it right now, but I talked about passion already, right? Let me see if we could get to it. Let's see. I'm not gonna look. Oh, there we go. Y'all want to learn about passion real quick? Okay, I guess we can. Right? Passion, the sufferings of Christ, right? Christ is consciousness, right? The suffering of your brain and mind and consciousness, suffering, enduring, right? Undergo, experience that which must be endured, right? But what else is it? Oh shit, y'all can't see the whole screen. What else is it? All right, this shit is crazy. Suffering of martyrs, right? Compare passive, right? But it's also an ailment, a disease, an affliction, emotion, desire, inclination, feeling, or desire to sin. That's what passion is. What is passive? Passive means capable of being acted upon. Oh shit. So passive represents someone capable of suffering, but also someone capable of being acted upon, right? By who? The devil. That's why when you're feeling passionate, you usually do things like what? Commit crimes of passion. You usually say crazy things like, I hate you, mom. You know what I mean? Then you go stepping on cracks trying to break your mama's back because you're passionate. But I tell you, you probably should leave that word alone. This danger, along with the added danger due to the indoctrination that we face from the day that we are born, leads us to believe that we are nothing but pawns, right? Did I move too fast? Do y'all feel like y'all should leave passion alone, right? This horribly divine truth has us all operating outside of the natural order we are meant to adhere to. In order for this indoctrination to take place, there were things that had to happen first. In my previous work, I mentioned a quote from Charles Darwin. Put a one in the comments if you know who Charles Darwin is. Let me see if I could show y'all something. This is Charles Darwin. This is Charles Darwin, right? Have y'all heard of him? He's the one that told y'all came from monkeys. Look, this him taking a picture. This Charles Darwin, right? I read his book. His books are crazy. There's like, his books are interesting. There's some good and bad shit in there. It's really crazy. He has this whole thing about mulattoes. It gets weird. It does, right? Monkey lips and all kind of monkey ears. He was like testing monkey ears with human ears, and oh man, I'm telling you, it gets wild. That's Charles Darwin. He's the one that said y'all came from monkeys. Nigga, what? Yeah, welcome back. All right. All right, Charles Darwin about how Europe coming out of the Dark Ages was a perplexing problem and how they unalived thousands of thinkers for 3 decades straight at a minimum, right? So when they came out of the Dark Ages, he said it was a perplexing problem. If anybody knows what the Dark Ages was, why would it be a problem coming out of it? Y'all feel me? If we know what the Dark Ages were, why would it be a perplexing problem coming out of the Dark Ages? Why? Oh, because they murdered people. Who'd they murder? Let's just take it. Let's take a guess. Who do we think they murdered? Oh, of course, they murdered the people who were thinking. They murdered the people who they called a witch, right? They murdered the people who were doing astrology, astronomy, geology, geography, etc., 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 etc. Right? And then once they did that, all the books became church books, right? So they destroyed all the books. They burned down all the books. They kept the ones for themselves, right, with the information. So the information still exists. They just kept it for themselves. And then all they gave the people were liturgical books, right? About the Bible. Golden age time is now. Gratitude for the knowledge. Oh yeah, Guala Blocka. Peace. What it do? Yo, shout out to everybody that's joining. Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. If your hands get tired, tap with your nose. If you in the car, make sure your seatbelt's buckled. And if your hands get tired, tap with your knuckle. Hey, look. Hey, that's Rashaud the poet. You know what I mean? I just be freestyling this shit. But really, we're trying to get to 10 million likes, right? We got a long way to go. So tap with your fingers, tap with your toes. All right. In order for this savagery to spread, documents were drafted, giving people the impression that the world was theirs for the taking. Can anybody think about what kind of document was drafted in order for people to think that the world was theirs for the taking, right? Before we dive into a world-changing document that I am sure many are aware of, but may have never truly read, let's break down the meaning of the word, meaning of a very important word, right? Can anybody think of a document that was drafted that allowed people to feel like they could take over the world? There we go. There we go. So the doctrine of the discovery leads to manifest destiny, right? So the doctrine of the discovery is the document that made them think they could take over the world. Manifest destiny was like a child of doctrine of the discovery, right? So manifest destiny is like the child that came afterwards, right? So when they did the Western expansion, it was like, ooh, manifest destiny, the world is ours for the taking. And then when the Supreme Court got involved, they let that shit slide because the doctrine of discovery. You feel me? Makes sense, right? Discover, divulge, reveal, disclose, expose, lay open to view. Uh-oh. Betray someone's secret. What? What was the secret? The secret was America's the promised land, all right? Hey, look, you heard it here first. You might not have heard it here first, but this is the best you've ever heard it. You feel me? Put a one in the comments if you agree, all right? This definition is important for many reasons, but mainly because it sheds light on what America truly is and was. In a book titled Ancient Mystics, Oriental Masonry, its teachings, rules, laws, and present usages which govern the order at the present day by Dr. R. Swinburne Clymer, right, says the following. No, I told him first. Hey, look, Yo Ron said he told y'all first, but I believe y'all heard it from me, right? People lie all the time. Somebody's been lying, and I think it's Yo Ron Network. America, to see it demonstrated that the cosmic terror is interwoven with the very warp and woof of all sacred literature, Christian and pagan, refer to occurrences as literally true as the earthquake of Lisbon, the stupendous events being connected primarily with the great destruction and recovery of equilibrium in the solar system. And secondly, with the consequent wrecking of the continent of America when the globe became involved in the consequent consequences of the disorder of the skies. America, wait, hold up. What the fuck? Tap the screen. Put a one in the comments if you love it here. All right. America, known to the mystics as Atlantis. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hey, everybody type Atlantis in the comments. Look, like I said, I'm not trying to be your boss, but when I tell y'all to do something, just do it. You know what I mean? You be listening to your manager and they'll fire you anytime. I'll never fire you. Get closer to the screen. I would never fire you. All right. So when I tell you to do it, you should do it because I'd never fire you. Right. Everybody type Atlantis in the comments. Right. Shout out to America. Right. When this ruin befell was the seat of the greatest empire that has ever existed, and its irresistible armies were terrorizing all Europe and Asia. Wait a minute. All right. So the irresistible armies of America were terrorizing Europe and Asia during the time that Atlantis existed. So that means that before the doctrine of discovery, people were already aware of America because America had traveled to Europe and Asia and was terrorizing them folks. What? Wait a minute. Don't that sound different than the history that they taught us? I want this book. Somebody's been lying. Words are spells and curses. Hey, don't that sound different than what they told us? Am I tripping? They this okay. Let's see. Let me show y'all something real quick. Watch this. Watch this. I know y'all seen this before, right? Y'all seen this before? Very different. Y'all seen this before? This is a pain. This is supposed to be the Moors versus Wild Man, right? But what if these are Americans? What if these are Americans fighting a wild man? Hey, what if they're trying to conquer these castles and all these different things because Americans are over there running amok, doing what they want to do? But we're also teaching people. We're also spreading this real shit. We're teaching people how to build mounds. We're teaching people all kind of amazing information about astrology, astronomy, and all these different things, right? And these people are coming out the hills, right, trying to learn how to eat, trying to go to war, trying to get up in these castles. Uh-oh. The only reason I'm saying that this is a possibility because why would they never tell us that America was over there terrorizing these folks? Europe and Asia. The only reason they would be lying is because they don't want you to know it because it's the truth. And it adds a whole different aspect to world history, right? They told you America is the new world, but how can it be new if they're talking about it during the time of Atlantis? The things that make you go, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's been lying. You feel me? Somebody's been lying. This takes us back to the etymology of discover, mentioning betray someone's secret, right? And what better secret to keep than the greatest empire that ever existed? There is more evidence to this fact, right? What's the greatest secret? America being the greatest empire that ever existed. That's the greatest secret. But also the inhabitants of this land. But whatever, we're gonna leave that for later. We're gonna get to these things, right? All right, so let's keep going. Beyond the Herculean pillars, does everybody know what the pillars of Hercules are? It's between Spain and Africa, right? There's like a little bit of opening right there, and between those two, it's called the Pillars of Hercules, right? So beyond the Pillars of Hercules, certain Carthaginian merchants penetrated the Atlantic Ocean so far that at last they found a vast yet uninhabited island, producing nothing but herbage, plants, and wild beasts, yet interlaced with many meandering rivers, right? Peace to the God. Now, have y'all ever been doing your research about America and you see all the rivers that exist here, right? Y'all be talking about the Mississippi breaks up into these 7 different rivers, but it has all these different, small, tiny rivers and lakes and all that shit. All the like majority of the clean, fresh water comes from America, right? That's what they're talking about. Abounding with several sorts of fish, lying someday sail from the continent. They landing found a soil so fertile, right? Ain't that what y'all be talking about? All the people that talk about American history ain't one of the things y'all love to talk about is the fertile soil, right? And air so temperate that there they settled and were the first planters of that isle. But the Carthaginians, having intelligence thereof, prohibited all persons whatsoever upon pain of death to go thither, fearing the place being so much commended, all the people would be ready to flock thither and desert their own, and so utterly unfurnished and debilitate their own growing commonwealth, right? So they're saying that America was so damn great, so damn fertile, so damn beautiful that they knew that if people told about it, they would leave where they're from, come here, and leave their land abandoned. Put a 1 in the comments if we got this immigration shit going on. Put a 1 in the comments if they say that this is the melting pot and everybody in the world wants to get to America right now. Put a 1 in the comments if everybody in the world be trying to make it to America. Ain't that what they just said? They said, yo, the Carthaginians, when they found America, they said, yo, don't tell nobody. Because if we tell people, they're going to leave their land and try to get to that place. They're going to leave their land abandoned to get to America. Oh, shit. Why didn't they teach us about this in high school? They didn't teach about this in high school. You know what I mean? We will touch on a few details found in that quote and then continue on with another gem that was left in its continuation. The first detail I would like to touch on is the fact that this land truly was inhabited. All right. So they said it wasn't inhabited, but we're going to talk about they're lying. Somebody's been lying. I've been trying to tell y'all, people, they're lying. I would have never hey, look, if this was school, you'd have never fell asleep, right? If they would have been telling the truth, we would have been up in class the whole time, like, what? Raising our hand, sitting in the front row, all kind of shit. People don't got ADHD and ADD, man. People just don't want to listen to lies all day, right? Hey, tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. We're trying to get to 10 million likes. I know y'all getting excited and all that shit, but don't forget that we're on a mission, okay? 10 million likes, all right? The first detail I would like to touch on is the fact that this land truly was inhabited. Secondly, this land was paradise, just as the quote mentioned, and the Carthaginians didn't discover it. They landed here and kept it a secret. Either they kept it a complete secret or this was information passed only to certain nations of that time. I can't tell y'all about something, but I can't read that or they'll ban the lot. They'll give me a restriction. Right? But how could the Carthaginians find America without the use of the compass? Ain't that a good question? Right? The compass was created in America, which goes to show that the original inhabitants of America traveled the world before the world traveled here. Oh, shit. Damn. Wait a minute. Yo, Ron, wait a minute. The stars for sure. But compasses existed already, right? So just as much as people use the stars, compasses already existed. All right. There's different stories about how the compass was created. Some people say that a guy stepped on something with cobblestone and stepped on a nail, and then the nail was sticking to something, and then he used that nail, right, to create a compass, right? Some people say that it was just a random Indian that created it, right? But it happened in America before it happened anywhere else in the world. Peace, D Moore. How you doing? Hey, tap the screen with your fingers and your toes, right? If you're driving a car, make sure your seatbelt's buckled. If your fingers get tired, start tapping with your knuckle. Hey, look. All right, the compass was created in America, which goes to show that the original inhabitants of America traveled the world before the world traveled here, right? That's why we were terrorizing Europe and Asia, because we traveled there first. Come on, y'all. Somebody's been lying. All of the health, wealth, and grandeur of America has been left out of many texts from modern times. It is important that we all understand the omission of this information was intentional. This omission would pose to assist in the indoctrination of this land's people. Do you think if they told us this shit in school that we would be having the mind states that we had when we were growing up? Nah. There would be a greatness embedded in our souls that we would have had since childhood, and it would have rose and grew with us until today. We wouldn't have to. My book probably wouldn't even exist. I'd have been writing about some other shit. I'd have been writing about the stars and the moon and all kind of other shit, like sitting on a mountaintop, you know, with my feet crossed, talking about some crazy jive. You feel me? But they didn't tell the truth. So now we have to have books like this that spread divine, wonderful truth. Somebody's been lying. Words, spells, and curses, right? We had to have these because they lied to us, right? This land that was already inhabited was so much commended that Poussin's sorcery was performed in order to conquer this promised land, right? The papal bull, Inter Caetera, issued by Pope Alexander. Wait a minute. Have y'all heard of the papal bull? Put a 1 in the comments if you heard of the papal bull, right? Put a 1 in the comments. Alexander, bishop, servant of the servants of God, to the illustrious sovereigns, our very dear son in Christ, Ferdinand, king, and our very dear daughter in Christ, Isabella, queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, and Granada, right? Granada got conquered, right? Granada got conquered, and then they started going around trying to find the rest of the people, right? Somebody in Granada was snitching, I think. I'm convinced somebody in Granada was like, yo, hey, look, right? We were the plug. I'm telling you, we were the plug. America was a plug. Somebody in Granada got caught up. They were like, yo, hey, if you let me go, I'll tell you about the plug. Y'all, come on. Do y'all think history, do y'all think people are so different throughout history that the same shit don't be happening? Somebody got arrested in Granada and they're like, yo, if you let me go, I'll tell you where the corn is. You feel me? Somebody got arrested in Granada and was like, yo, if you let me go, I'll tell you where the corn is at. And they're like, all right, well, take us there. And once we get there to the corn, we'll let you go. They arrived in America. He probably got unalived. And now here they are in America trying to steal the corn. All right. Boom. Health and apostolic benediction, among other works well pleasing to the divine majesty and cherished for our heart. This assuredly ranks highest that in our times, especially the Catholic faith, right? And the Christian religion, which is, these things are not separate. Tap the screen, y'all. We're trying to get to 10 million likes, right? Tap the screen, shut it live. We got 43 shares. We need 10 million shares. All right, tap with your fingers, tap with your toes. The Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and be everywhere increase and spread, that the health of the souls be cared for, and that barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to faith itself, right? This is the papal bull. They're telling you they want to spread the Catholic faith and the Christian religion, and they want to overthrow barbarous nations, which is your ancestors, right? Let's go down. The Catholic kings and princes, such as we have known you always to be, and as your illustrious deeds already known to almost the whole world declare, you not only eagerly desire with every effort, zeal, and diligence, without regard to hardships, expenses, and dangers. They said they want to get to America no matter what. They said eagerly desire, but with every effort, zeal, and diligence, without regard to hardships, expenses, dangers. They were like, yo, we don't give a what happens. Y'all better find America right now. Y'all better get there. And people be trying to say Christopher Columbus was lost. Listen to me. If the king and the queen, the Catholic Church, said with every effort, zeal, and diligence, without regard to hardships, expenses, and dangers, with the shedding even of your blood, are laboring to that end, do you think they were going to send somebody that had the possibilities of getting lost? Or does it sound like they knew exactly what they were trying to find? Would you put every effort and zeal and diligence without regard to hardships, expenses, and dangers, with the shedding even of your own blood? Would you put that into finding something that you don't know how to get to? Hell no. You got to have a clue. You got to know what's going on. Dedicated this purpose, your whole soul. Dedicated to this purpose, your whole soul. Man, ain't nobody dedicating their soul to nothing like that. To possibilities. Nobody dedicates their souls to possibilities, y'all. I'm telling you. All right? That's not how that shit works. People don't dedicate their soul to possibilities. People dedicate their souls to shit, that's for sure. All right? With so much glory to the divine name in your recovery of the kingdom of Granada from the yoke of the Saracens. Y'all know what the Saracens are? Right? When they came here, they were looking for the what? When they were traveling the world, they were looking for what? Saracens and Moors and Saracens, right? Ain't that what they said? Anybody know about history? They said they're looking for the Moors and the Saracens, right? From the yoke of the Saracens, we therefore are rightly led and hold it as our duty to grant you, even of our own accord and in your favor, those things whereby with effort each day more hearty you may be enabled for the honor of God himself and the spread of the Christian rule to carry forward your holy and praiseworthy purpose, so pleasing the immortal God. God dang. This new to me. Hey, look, this is the doctrine of the goddamn discovery. What you have just read was the beginning of the doctrine of the discovery, 1493, right? Granada fell in 1492. 1493, they were like, yo, we conquering the world now, right? We got the Moors out the way. One of the Moors told us how to get to America. Let's get it. It is what it is, right? So doctrine, right? What is doctrine? In a religion or field of knowledge, right? Teaching, doctrine, teaching, body of teaching, learning, right? The notion is, right? Master or instructor, hence any set of principles held as true, right? So what does the doctrine of discovery really mean? So we are already aware of what discovery truly means, and now we are able to see the meaning of doctrine. This document, the doctrine of discovery, translate in context to history much better as the body of teachings concerning betrayal. Ooh. Hey, look. What up, lucky lady? How you doing? Hey, look, y'all. Put a one in the comments if that makes sense. Based on everything we read, I said the doctrine of discovery, based on the etymology, translates way better to the body of teachings concerning betrayal, right? Because when they came here, what did they do? They had all these contracts and all these treaties and shit. What did they do? People signed treaties, they betrayed them, right? What did they do? People taught them how to get there, right? They betrayed those people that taught them how to get here. You know what I mean? They got here. They set up their own little colonies. Then they betrayed Britain. Look, they just been betraying everybody. Since hey, look, everything they've done has been betrayal based, right? For this false glory, Satan yells, Eureka, right? The power of words will always prove to be incredible if you ask me. The word Eureka and its famous use by Greek scholar Archimedes led me to a divine truth that proves so much if you have the eyes to see and the mind to think, right? I don't want to get into all that, right? There, the only reason I had to go through this is because it leads to something, but it's a lot, right? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all want to get into all these kind of details, right? A lot of people just be like, yo, man, get to the meat and potatoes. I don't want to bore y'all with this, but this is just like a story. But this is how they found out, right, about density, right? It is what it is. They found out about density. Some dude sat in a tub. The water went over the side. There was a king, King Heron II, who had a golden crown. He thought that the person that was fixing the crown stole some of his gold and replaced it with silver. So the way that Archimedes found out that the crown was not pure gold was through testing the density. Put it in water with a bar of gold that was the same weight as a crown, and it come to find out that the crown didn't spill the same amount of water as the gold bar. So then he was able to realize, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? The gold crown had silver in it. But when he sat in the tub and the water spilled out, he said, Eureka. And that's what made Eureka be famous, quote. You know what I mean? So that's basically what all this was about, right? And that's how they were able to recognize density, right? This incident led to Archimedes placing the king's crown into water because he realized density was an answer to the issue, right? Okay. But it's interesting, right? The characteristic property of a pure substance is known as density, right? Everybody type pure. No, matter of fact, type density in the comments. Type density in the comments. Hey, look, I ain't trying to be your boss, but when I tell you to do something, just do it, right? I got you. I got your best interest at heart, right? Density. All right. So listen, the characteristic property of a pure substance is known as density. All right. Pure, right? Have y'all ever studied bone density? Hey, look, I'm telling y'all, the truth is the way that the truth works is crazy. Like some shit is undeniable. There's undeniable truths that exist. You just have to learn how to put it together the right way. Bone density, tell you the truth, right? Density is the characteristic property of pure substance, right? Because it can be used to identify a pure substance. Density research was done on bones of the different races, and this is interesting because the results showed clear differences in the density of different races and sexes. Oh shit, right? So if density, hey, look, let's play a guessing game. If density is the characteristics of a pure substance, can you guess whose bones had the density to prove them to be pure? Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Eureka. Eureka, right? Do y'all see where we're going with this? All right. Bone and tooth enamel are the hardest mineral substance in your body. Most people know the value of strong teeth, but how many consider the value of strong bones until the problem develops? Strong bones do. Hey, look, y'all remember when they were talking about like the hospital and all that shit? Peace, Paris, and they were talking about the hospital and all these things, and they were talking about, oh, melanated people, they're stronger, they could deal with more pain, they could do all this. Hey, what if it was like low key true? But the only reason it sucks is because they use that technology, they use that information to torture you. But what if it was like actually true? Like you can actually withstand more things for real. But the only reason why it seems like a burden for that to be the truth is because the people that are figuring it out are hurting you to figure it out, right? I know it sucks, but what if it just is what it is? Right? Because we'll hear about it and we'll be like, oh man, it's messed up, man. They think that we can handle more pain, so they treat us bad. You can handle more pain. It's just unfortunate that they treat you bad. You can handle it. You can. It's just unfortunate that they're treating you bad and they're mistreating you in those situations like the hospital, right? They also enable better posture to improve your appearance and make you look and feel more youthful. That's why you look and feel more youthful, right? They say black don't crack. What if the black not cracking was a part of your bone density? Come on, y'all. Hey, look. What if black don't crack? Your bone density plays a part in that. The benefit of strong bones, right? So now this whole 3 paragraphs I wrote about density is starting to make more sense. I didn't want to read the whole thing to you because I didn't want to bore y'all. So I broke it down real quick. But now it's starting to make sense. Put a one in the comments if the density thing is making a lot more sense now, as well as, right? The architecture of the skeleton is remarkably adapted to provide adequate strength and mobility so the bones do not break when subjected to substantial impact, even the loads placed on bones during vigorous physical activity. The shape or structure of bone is at least as important as its mass in providing this strength, right? The skeleton is also a storehouse for two minerals, calcium and phosphorus, right? It's crazy how these are, never mind, that are essential for the functioning of other body systems, right? And this storehouse must be called upon in times of need, right? This is according to the National Center of Biotechnology Information, Bone Health and Osteoporosis, a report of the Surgeon General. Hey, look, I might tell you a joke, but I never tell you a lie, right? You feel me? I might tell a joke, but I never tell a lie. All right. Yes, indeed. You are and have always been the golden child, right? Why do I call you the golden child? Because the shit was measured with gold. I'm calling you the golden child, the children of the sun, kinfolk, divine, right? You are a living, breathing example of purity, and this land was also once just as pure. I say this because pure substances in the solid form are mostly denser. Oh shit, that's why you're so connected to the earth, because the earth is all. Hey, look, watch this. That's why you're so connected to the earth, right? Because what? Gravity is not real. Density is. The more dense you are, the more connected to the earth you are, right? That's why you're so connected to the earth because you're more dense. You're connected to that shit. You can't be moved. Eureka. They found the golden children maintaining themselves peacefully in the promised land known today as America. Let's continue with a little more from the doctrine of discovery. Hey, put a one in the comments if I'm cooking right now. Hey, let's stop fucking around. Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. Tap the screen with your nose. Tap the screen with your knuckle. If you drive it, make sure your seatbelt's buckled. But look, don't leave the live we're cooking right now. Tap the screen because we're trying to get to 10 million likes. We only have 55,000. Y'all are tripping right now. Tap the screen. You know what I mean? I know your hands hurt, but if your hands hurt, Use your knuckles or something. You, with the wish to fulfill your desire, chose our beloved son, Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colon, a man assuredly worth and of the highest recommendations and fitted for so great an undertaking, whom you furnished with ships and men equipped for like designs, not without the greatest hardships, dangers, and expenses, to make diligent quest for the remote and unknown mainlands and islands through the sea, where hitherto no one had sailed, and they at length, with divine aid and with the utmost diligence, sailing in the ocean sea, discovered certain very remote islands and even mainlands that hitherto had not been discovered by others, wherein dwell very many peoples. What the fuck? Hey, look, I don't know if it's just me, but somebody's been lying. How are they saying over and over it hasn't been discovered, but they say wherein dwell very many people? How are they? Oh my goodness. How are they saying it hasn't been discovered, but wherein dwell very many people, living in peace, and as reported, going unclothed and not eating flesh? So who are these unclothed people not eating flesh on this undiscovered island or and mainland, right? Oh, it must be those same Americans that were terrorizing all of Europe and Asia, right? It must be the people that existed here before anybody traveled here. And when I say anybody, I mean everybody. So wait a minute. Historically, there was people that just been here. They didn't discover it. They just been here, dwelling here, living here since the beginning of time, since time immemorial. So that means there was people here before people crossed bridges made out of ice. Wait, never mind. I digress. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm just saying, ain't that like, put a one in the comments if are we all getting the same thing from what I'm reading? Somebody's been lying. Somebody's been lying. Wherein dwell very many people living in peace, and as reported, going unclothed and not eating flesh. So they were trying to spill the blood and destroy and murder people who were living in peace, not eating flesh, but naked, having a good time. Okay. Okay. According to historydaily.org, the crimes of Christopher Columbus, why he was brought back to Spain in chains. Ooh. All right, look, tap the screen. Hopefully they let this slide, right? Even when he wasn't on one of his escapades, Columbus was known for his excessively cruel nature, according to Bartolome de las Casas, a young priest who witnessed the Cuba takeover. Endless testimonies prove the mild and pacific temperament of the natives. But remember, they were living in peace, right? They were living in peace, right? Prove the mild and pacific temperament of the natives. But our work was to exasperate, ravage, unalive, mangle, and destroy. Small wonder then if they tried to unalive one of us now and then, right? The admiral, if it is true, was blind as those who came after him, and he was so anxious to please the king that he committed irreparable crimes against the Indians. He further noted that Spaniards mutilated natives without a second thought just to test their knives, and even rode around on their backs like horses. Las Casas also told of a time when some Spaniards casually walked by a couple of young native boys, each with their own parrot, and stole the parrots and beheaded the children just for fun. Wait a minute. Not the people living in peace, all in the name of Christianity and the Catholic faith. No, couldn't be. Also, while Columbus dehumanized all natives, he exploited native women even further. He once kidnapped a native Caribbean woman, stripped her naked, brought her back to a ship, and placed her in a room of one of his men, Michael de Cuneo, right? According to an account of Cuneo himself, he enthusiastically attempted to R-word her, but the woman fought back and scratched him deeply with her nails. In his words, I then took a piece of rope and whipped her soundly, and she let forth such an incredible scream that you would not have believed your ears. Eventually, we came to such terms, I assure you, that you would have thought she had been brought up in a school for whores. Oh my God. Put a one in the comments. Put a one in the comments. Well, put some, what do y'all do? Y'all put fruits and shit in the comments when things get a little out of control. Put some fruits in the comments. It's crazy, y'all. People living in peace. Said he beat her so bad you would have thought she grew up in a school for whores. You know? Hey, look, all honors to the righteous people that suffered throughout history. It's crazy. According to a letter, to an acquaintance of the Queen, Donna Joanna de la Torre, Columbus also ordered native girls as young as 9 years old. Listen to me. Listen to me. 9 years old. Why do we have a Columbus Day? Why are there statues of Columbus all over the place? Native girls as young as 9 years old to be sold as smex slaves. There are plenty of dealers. This is what Columbus said, quote unquote. There are plenty of dealers who go about looking for girls. Those from 9 to 10 are now in demand. What? And for all ages, a good price must be paid. 9 to 10 are in demand. So that means all of them were nasty. All them folks came over here on some nasty shit. Maybe that's why tunnels exist, right? So let's think about it. Watch this. I told you we're going to talk about some shit today, right? So we just found out that all of them were sick, right? Put a one in the comments if you agree that all of them were sick, right? Epstein Island, they got tunnels underground, and all that kind of shit, right? Somebody who just said it ran in their blood, right? You said it ran in their blood, right? Watch this. Watch this. Oh no, it does run in their blood, right? So this is the reason why that should be so dangerous, right? Because historically they were known to build these tunnels. But look what the tunnels lead to. What do y'all see up there? Y'all see schools and churches and houses and all these different things, right? So you can send your children to certain places thinking that it's all good and it's all safe. The news will tell you, or these people that work at these places will tell you, oh, it must have happened while they were walking home. But what if it happened while they were just in there? What if they got a call, blah, 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 come to the principal's office. And as they walk to the office, they get taken into a room. Then they get dropped into a tunnel. And then they get pulled all the way to the bottom to disappear. And then they get sold because what did they say? 9 and 10-year-olds were in high demand, right? And they're all in cahoots. You know what I mean? That's why you can't find them. Because the Amber Alert tells you to look for a car. But little do you know, they're underground. So you're looking for a red car driving up and down the highway frantic. Your child is underground, getting transferred from one place to the next underground, right? Crazy, right? Crazy, y'all. Exactly, vibes. They quote unquote ran away. Exactly, Becky. Church camp, quote unquote, church camp. Children go missing. How do all these children just go missing? You send them to camps and all these different things, and then a whole rack of them just go missing. Nobody can find them. What happened? Oh, they pulled them under a tunnel underground. They're gone. Just disappeared out of thin air, right? Somebody's been lying. Somebody's been lying. Hey, we getting into it. We getting into it. People think they disappeared. Let me see what's up next. Because there's this was quite a long chapter, right? This was quite a long chapter. Oh, we're about to get into some good shit. Should we talk about the wild man right now? Because we kind of on it, or should we just like get into this shit real quick? Because oh my goodness, it just gets so good. Like, to be honest with y'all, I be wanting to skip certain parts, but it's like I put my hard work and effort into writing this book, and I try to make sure it wasn't full of like bullshit. Like every read is really worth it. Like we could have went over this right here. It was worth the read. I broke it down just because it wasn't on. It would have took us a while to get through it, but I don't be wanting to skip nothing, y'all. It's good. It's good. I don't be wanting to skip nothing because context takes you where you need to go. Context takes us where we need to go. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really want to skip anything. No skips, right? No skips. Let's get into it. Where were we? We must understand that this type of behavior was aimed towards people who Pope Alexander knew to be people living in peace. As I mentioned before, this document was definitely a form of sorcery, and Pope Alexander himself is a sorcerer, right? The Pope is a sorcerer, right? Listen, what is the word? Somebody was trying to argue with me about this word a couple of days ago. Warlock. The Catholic Church is full of warlocks, right? Literally. It's in the etymology. It breaks it down. A witch and a wizard do practice righteousness. Warlocks practice unrighteousness. And that's how it goes. Right? Sorcerer, right? Teller of fortunes by lot. This is deep. All right. Lot. What is lot? Object used to determine one's share. Okay. So they were trying to determine your share. How do you determine one's share? You a share of land, right? You see where the sorcery takes place? The share of land. That's what the doctrine of the discovery was. They were trying to determine someone's share of land. You get it? Sorcery. By definition, it's not like none of that spooky shit. It's just really what it is. The sorcery was taking place. A teller of fortunes by lot. The doctrine of discovery was the fortune, right? Christopher Columbus. What if Christopher Columbus, crystal ball cologne, was a crystal ball? Hey, wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, hey, look. I know. Rashaud, stop playing. I don't know. Maybe the Pope was practicing sorcery. Crystal ball cologne just happened to be crystal ball. A teller of fortune by lot. You know what I mean? Object used to determine one's share. Maybe Christopher or Crystal Ball was the object used to determine one's share by traveling to America and talking about the land and telling the information to the Pope so that the Pope could determine the shares of land to give to his people, right? Through the doctrine of discovery. And then through the what? What did we say the doctrine of discovery led to? It led to what? I don't know if she's still in here. I don't know. We talked about it earlier. We said the doctrine of discovery led to manifest destiny, y'all. Manifest destiny. That's where Western expansion. There we go, Lilith. Manifest destiny. Strings were pulled and shares were determined, all by the use of a magic wand, which is a pen, and a sorcerer who mastered his technique. Technique is mastering your words, right? Have y'all ever heard of the word technique before? Have y'all ever heard of this word? Technique? Right? Technique, right? The art of letters, okay? Grammatique, technique, the art of letters. It goes into grammar, right? Words are spells. Okay. So when you write a document about taking over land, this is sorcery without all the fear and all the crazy shit and all the ooga booga booga. It's just really sorcery. And all the etymology definitions of what sorcery is, that's what's happening. The doctrine of discovery became the basis of all European claims in the Americas, as well as the foundation for the United States Western expansion. In the U.S. Supreme Court, in the 1823 case, Johnson versus McIntosh, Chief Justice John Marshall opinion in the unanimous decision held that the principle of discovery gave European nations an absolute right to the New World lands. Damn. Right? So listen to me close. Everybody get real close to the screen. Get real close to your phone. Right? If the Supreme Court said that the doctrine of discovery, the principle of discovery, gave European nations an absolute right to the New World lands, but the Pope a few years back said that the doctrine of discovery, he apologized for it and said it's null and void now. Doesn't that mean they gotta get wait, hold up. Never mind. Never mind. I'm gonna leave it alone. In essence, American Indians had only the right of occupancy, which could be abolished. A crippling number of people are subject to their shares being determined by others. This is a pure result of the subjugation that the entire world is facing right now as we speak. Occupancy that can be abolished while sitting on your own land. Doesn't it mean they have to get that shit back? Oh, brother. The spells that have been casted upon man and mankind are both heartless and calculated. There have been many atrocities that have taken place on this plane ever since the tables began to turn, leading up until this very moment. As you look around the world, you can still see the savagery in full effect, and even showing itself to be supreme in the minds of a vast majority. Transgenerational effects of war, fear, entertainment, and indoctrination, every single step in history had to take place in order for this spell to work. Just like when you watch a Hollywood movie of witchcraft where the ingredients are to a T. One of the most important steps in making someone disappear while they are living is to first make them forget who they are, right? Make them so forgetful that while the world looks for them, they even join in on the search. Now you see me, now you don't. And look, so while the world has been looking for the true inhabitants of America, those vanished tribes and those civilizations who just disappeared, you joined in on the search, not knowing that you were looking for yourself. Put a one in the comments if you found yourself today. Put a one in the comments if you found yourself within the last few years. Put a one in the comments if you already knew who you were, right? Put a one in the comments if they can't lie no more. We joined in on the search whole time. You feel me? They can't lie no more. This recent invasion of the Promised Land is documented to have lasted more than 300 years from the 16th century up until the 20th century. Now that we have made clarification on who the original inhabitants are, we can safely say that the war has never ended. As people of the world, we can see that a war on every woman, man, and child is ongoing as well. I would hate for anyone to feel left out. So whoever you are, I don't care what color you think your skin is and all that, what color you think you are. I'm white. Are you really look at white and look at your skin? I'm black. Are you really look at black and look at your skin? They're at war with everybody. You're nationless. They turn everybody into slaves. Oops. Uh-oh. The only thing is it's a caste system. So some of y'all are on a higher level of servitude than the others. It is what it is. Right? But if you read certain books like the slave narratives, it talks about poor whites. Poor whites were lower than slaves, were lower than the so-called slaves, right? So I mean, we got to really start thinking. We got to really start thinking of what's really going on, right? Because somebody's been lying, right? Oh, don't leave now. I said white and black, and people got out of here. They're like, I'm gonna be white forever. I'm gonna be black until I die. Hey, look, dog. These lies were given to innocent minds. All of our children within their school systems, as we slaved away way too busy to realize what was going on. The doctrine of discovery mentions America never being discovered, but somehow down the line, the education system begins to say that the original inhabitants came from somewhere else, just like their invaders did. When you study the written history that is available, you begin to see that the stories change over time up until the point that all of history has been completely rewritten. Damn. Whew. All right, let's see. Watch this. We're going to break something down. So necromancer. We talked about necromancer in the beginning, right? Nigromancy, sorcery, witchcraft, black magic. It comes from necros, dead body, right? Medieval Latin, Niger, which means black, right? So just go back in reverse. Niger comes from necros. Necros means a dead body, right? So what does that mean if you call yourself black? What are you claiming to be? Oh, don't get quiet now, everybody. If you call yourself black, then what are you claiming to be? They probably won't let you type it in the comments. Oh, there we go. Yes, yes, Tay. Exactly. If you call yourself black, then you're claiming to be a dead body, because that's what it is. Same root, right? Because what is color? Color is a lie. What is color? This is based on the law. An appearance, semblance, or simulacrum, as distinguished from that which is real. Oh, wait. So does that mean color is fake? Right? A prima facie or apparent right, hence a deceptive appearance. Oh, so if I call you black, that's deception. If I call myself black, that's deception. If I call you white, that's deception. If you call yourself white, that's what? Deceptive. An assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality, a disguise. You've never been yourself. You've been under disguise this whole time, right? We're going to get into some shit real quick. Let me see, right? But the reason why they have you under disguise, right, is because they don't want you to know who you really are, right? So they have you wearing a mask, right, to conceal who you truly are, right? Because they wanted to turn you from divinity to what? A human being, right? So they gave you these colors and they told you you're a human being, right? We're all humans, we're all one, and all that shit. Sea monster. This is based on the James A. Ballantyne's 1948 Law Dictionary. Human being, sea monster. Everybody type monster in the comments. Oh shit, I ain't never seen no shit like that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. People come in here, they get so excited with the information, they don't be sending gifts. But hey, look, send more gifts. I appreciate it. You feel me? Nigga ain't doing this shit for free. It's like, nah, I just playing. Hey, look, but I'm being serious. Everybody type monster in the comments. Listen, I don't want to be your boss. I'm not trying to boss you around. But there's a purpose for the things that I do. So if I ask you to type monster in the comments, there's a reason. You know what I mean? I know your fingers work. Type monster in the comments. What is a monster? A human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. Oh shit. A human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. What is some part? Like something that we know of humans to have, right? Can everybody tell me in some, all right, peace, Astral, in some part resembling a lower animal? Can anybody tell me a part of a human that might resemble a lower animal when they're born? Can anybody just guess like something that could be happening to a human when they're born that resembles like a lower animal? Hmm. Oh, Mr. C says a tail. Oh, Yah says a tail. Oh, everybody's saying a tail. Yes, yes. A lower animal, a tail. You're damn right, right? Now, the thing about a monster is a monster hath no inheritable blood, right? So there's a reason why when they came over here, what they say 10 and 9 and 10-year-olds were of high demand. They were trying to take on the indigenous people because they can't inherit land. They don't have inheritable blood. They can't get to the land, so they got to get a wife. They got to create babies, and then they create partus sequitur ventrum, which means the child is the condition of the womb. So now they might not be able to inherit the land as the man that came here, but they've created a baby with this woman, and the child is the condition of the mom. So now they can inherit the land through their child. Oh shit! Is that why they were kidnapping little girls left and right? Ah. Albeit it be brought forth in marriage. They were marrying little children, kidnapping children and marrying them, having children, having babies, getting married to inherit the land because they were monsters and you weren't. And then what they do, they told you you were a monster, right? They did propaganda to turn you into the monster and turn themselves into the god. Well, how did they turn themselves into the god? They use words like vote and petition, right? Okay. Oh, we got so much to go, y'all. Hey, I forgot how good this book is. My fault, y'all. I almost forgot. This book is fucking amazing. Somebody's been lying words, spells, and curses. They try to turn you into the monster, right? It's called, what is it called? Destiny swap. Now everybody's trying to say we're destiny swapping with people, right? Because we're figuring out who we are. So they get mad if you say you're this. They get mad if you say you're that. Oh, you're a Hebrew. Oh, you're an Egyptian. Oh, you're a Moor. Oh, you're an Indian. Everybody's mad because you're figuring out who you are. You are all of those things. You know what I mean? Depending on your genealogy, you could be all those things. All these original people from around the world, you could be a part of that, right? What page are you on? I'm on, this is page, let's go back to the page we're actually on. Oh, damn. We're on page 99. Yeah, we're on page 99. Right? So manifest destiny, watch. Manifest destiny, it gets crazy. So watch this. Watch this, y'all. I'm about to pull out my bro. Oh damn, it's too big. So there were some people that existed one time in the world. Put a 1 in the comments if you think the wild man disappeared. Put a 2 if you think they're still around. Put a 1 in the comments if you think the wild man disappeared. Put a 2 in the comments if you think they're still here. Oh yeah. We got a lot of tools. We got a lot of tools. A lot of people think the wild man is still around, right? How could they be here though? That's the thing. How could the wild man be around and people not really know? Like you feel like they're everywhere, but you just don't know it. Well, we're about to talk about it right now. So a lot of people talk about ghost DNA. A lot of people be talking about ghost DNA and shit like that, right? Like, have y'all ever heard about the boar and the pig and how you can capture a wild boar, you could shave it, put it in captivity, and it will turn into a pink, hairless pig? You can capture a wild boar, put it in captivity, and it'll turn into a pink hairless pig. Have y'all ever heard anybody say, "Oh, pig skin," or like, what do they be saying about pig skin? Like, you could get like, if you get fucked up, they can like put pig skin on yours. Have y'all ever heard these crazy things that people be saying? Right? They didn't know that. Yeah, it's crazy shit they be talking about. They be putting like pig skin on people, but I think now they take skin from your ass. But so there's this thing called epigenetics, right? And the way epigenetics works, right? Peace. So the way epigenetics works is like based on your environment, your behaviors, your food, your music, and everything, right? It can actually change the way that your genetic makeup is. It could change the way your genes work, right? You have epigenetics that takes place before birth, during birth, and after birth, right? So the behaviors of your parents all their life affect you as a child, right? So the shit I did as a 13-year-old is affecting my children, right? Before I even have them, right? But anyway, okay. So let's think about this. Epigenetics is based on your environment, your behaviors, your food, your music, everything else. So is there a possibility that these individuals got? All right, watch this. Okay, we're gonna go to something. I'm gonna show y'all. Right. So imagine this battle's taking place and they win, right? The wild man wins. The wild man, they win, obviously, right? Put a one in the comments if you think that their environment, their food, their behavior, and their music will change once they go from the woods and caves to a castle. If once they go from the woods, caves, underground to a castle, put a one in the comments if you think that their food, their music, and their behaviors and everything is going to change, right? Right. But also, we remember they said the Moors shaved them, right? They used to put them in the bathhouses and shave them, right? So that's a part of it. Now, I got a picture, and a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Peace, twin. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Watch this. Now you see the woman is hairy as shit, right? I gotta get this off quick. You see the woman, she's hairy as shit. But you see the fruits and the vegetables now, and now the little boy is not hairy. That's epigenetics. Let me get that up there. That's epigenetics, y'all. Do you see that? Do you see what happened? They went from eating each other and eating flesh. The mom is hairy as shit. Now they have fruits and vegetables, and the baby's not hairy no more. That's a picture of epigenetics. I'm telling. Right? This is how that shit works. Late onset consequences and all these different things, man. So all you have to do is change your environment, shave, do these things. Like there so I talked to my uncle when I was young. Not young, but younger. And we were talking about how he used to play music. And he was saying they were telling me, my brother, and my cousins, all my uncles were having this conversation, telling me, my brothers, and my cousins, like, yo, when we were young, we had school programs in our school, and they shut down the programs and bust us to the white neighborhoods. We didn't want to integrate. They made us do it. right? But on TV, if you look, they make it seem like integration was something that we wanted to do, right? Put a one in the comments if propaganda made it seem like we wanted to integrate into their schools. That's how they taught it to us, right? They taught it to us like, oh, we want it to be like we thought it was unfair. Like, please let us in your schools and shit. No, go talk to your ancestors. Go talk to your uncles and your aunts. And if your grandmothers are still alive and your grandfathers, and I bet you they'll tell you that they did not want to integrate. So I was like, all right, so we're asking them like, if y'all didn't want to integrate, like what really made y'all go? They were like, they shut down the music program, they shut down the school program. The after school programs. They shut down all the sports teams and said, if you want to do music, if you want to do any of the after school programs, if you want to play any sports, you have to go to the other schools. We're not funding your schools no more. They still don't fund the schools properly, right? So that's what they did to do integration. Now, we think we think that integration is because we wanted to be near them. That's what they made us think. But what if I told you that the reason integration is so important and the reason why nobody ever leaves us alone is because if they do, they're going to go back to this, right? Because being around us is the epigenetic change. Our music is different, our culture is different, our behaviors are different. Our cleanliness is different, our food is different, everything is different. And that's why all these people come around us and all they do is eat and eat and eat off of our culture all the time. And they always want to be around. They hate us, but they want to be around us. If we were to go separate, don't put a one in the comments. If we were to separate, if you think that they would follow us, even the ones that don't like us. I'm mainly talking about the ones that don't like us. If we were to separate and build our own nation, put a one in the comments if you think that they would follow us. They don't have a choice, right? Because if they don't follow us, they're gonna go back to this epigenetics. All right. If they don't follow us, they're gonna go back to this. They don't want to separate. We never wanted to integrate with them. They wanted to integrate with us, right? They wanted to integrate with us and they wanted to have babies with us because they can't keep their lines going as long as we can. They have to intermingle with us to keep their shit together. All right.
No, I've never been there, Robin. Never. Yeah, go visit Canada. Canada. Do I think Canada?
Things. All right. When these people came over to conquer America, they teamed up with the wild man that was here. All right. Hear me clearly. All right. The first epidemic of lice came over the Bering Strait land bridge. The first time lice ever touched America, it was over the Bering Strait land bridge. Who do you think it came with? It would have never came with civilized people. It came with the wild man, right? It came with the fucking wild man. This is America. Who do y'all see at the top? Who do y'all see at the top? Hmm? Is that a melanated woman? Okay. Okay. They won't let me do it. They say the picture's too big. All right. But look, you see the dude, the pale dude holding her up? What is that on his backside? Is that a tail? Is that resembling that of a lower animal? Oh, shit.
Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the share. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. What you doing? Taking it all outside? I don't know. I haven't touched any of them, honey. I seen that there was one, but yeah, there was only 2 of every flavor, so I don't know what you did with the other one. Huh? Oh.
Mexico? Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Right? They're not from Mexico. They made their way there through war, right? The Chichimeca, these are the people that helped Cortez. When Cortez came, they call it the doleful night. Cortez came, he was getting his ass whooped by Montezuma. Cortez retreated to the Tlaxcalteca, the Tlaxcala people, and they helped him conquer Mexico. You hear me? The people today that are telling you you're from Africa are the ones that helped Cortez conquer Mexico because they weren't from Mexico either. Look at all those names. Zacatecos, the Zacatecos, the Tepecanos, the Caxcanes or whatever, the Pames, the Otomes, all them fucking people. Oh, my sound is going out. Oh shit. Put a one in the comments if you hear me. You feel me? Put a one in the comments if you can hear me. Now listen to me really closely. All right. This is a Chichimeca, and they lived in Mexico. They moved into Mexico. This is their area right here, right? These are the people that call you the N word. All right, I promise you. These are the people that say you're nothing but an African. I guarantee you that when they get on the lives, you're gonna start to see it now. Now that you know the word, y'all see it, Chichimeca. Now that y'all see that word, you're gonna start asking people when they say they're from Mexico. You're gonna ask them, "Are you Chichimeca? You have any connection to the Chichimeca people?" And they'll be like, yes, yes, Chichimeca. Oh, da, 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 da. I want you to know that the Chichimeca came out of the woods and they came from underground and out of caves, right? The Chichimeca hunted large number of small animals, including frogs, lizards, snakes, and worms. Listen, hey, listen to me right now. They were eating worms. So you telling me that we've been arguing with people who eat worms in the 1500s? They were eating worms. We we just read a document talking about America was full of the best herbs and grains and the most fertile land, and you telling me that there's people eating worms? Hmm. And they rapidly assimilated into the Hispanic culture of the 17th century. That's why they don't talk about their history much. Because as soon as the Spanish came here, they went straight and they teamed up with them immediately because they were eating worms. And the Spanish were like, yo, we could get you out your situation. I'm telling you right now, a lot of the people that call themselves indigenous and native and all that shit, the reason why they teamed up with the colonizer so quickly is because their living conditions were shit. And the colonizer were like, yo, I'll give you this if you help us. And they're like, food? Please look into their treaties. If you look into the treaties will tell you that they had to teach these niggas how to farm. That's part of the treaty. Teach them how to farm because they were starving out there. If I was eating worms and you told me you would teach me how to grow my own food, all I had to do was help you win a war. I'm about to help you win a war. I'm not eating worms no more. Put a 1 in the comments if you would help. If you were eating worms and somebody came through and said, yo, we got chocolate and we got chocolate from and we got deer meat and we got all kind of shit. All you got to do is help us win a war. Are you gonna keep eating worms, or are you about to take that deer meat and chocolate? Man, don't lie. Y'all about to take the deer meat and chocolate. Y'all is not about to keep eating worms. Eating worms. Y'all have been smoking corpses and eating people's flesh. These are the people y'all been arguing with. Oh, Rashaud, take it easy. Da 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 da. Nah, niggas was eating flesh in 1910. You talk, huh? On the most fertile land that exists, Native American smoking and curing a human corpse in 1910. Put a 1 in the comments if you did your genealogy and you found a farmer, you found a landowner. If you found any pictures of your family in 1910 that had clothes on and shit. You telling me we've been arguing with people that have been eating flesh, smoking and curing and eating flesh? Ooh, that's crazy. They didn't teach you about this in high school. They didn't teach you about this in high school. I thought niggas pick cotton. What's going on here? Peace, TV. They didn't teach you about this in high school, y'all. Yeah, somebody's been lying. Somebody's been lying. Somebody's been lying.
He's, he's not going to do it when somebody tells him to. It's something you got to work yourself up to. Most so far is pushing a full.
They tried to teach you that you were a lower animal, right? Charles Darwin and his monkey friends. You know what I mean? They try to teach you that you were a lower animal. Why? Because they were trying to take your land. They were trying to be the ones that could inherit things, right? it could all belong to them as long as you don't know who you are, right? So they had to switch places with you. They had to destiny swap with you, right? And now that you're waking up and finally remember who you are, now they're trying to hit you with the destiny swap. Oh, you're trying to destiny swap with us. You're trying to do this. You're trying to no. That's not what's happening here. That's not even close to what's happening. Right? We're waking up to who we truly are. Right? We're waking up to who the fuck we really are. You know what I mean? Right? It's all adding up now. The troglodyte, right? What does Niger mean? Black, right? You don't come from no monkeys. Stop calling yourself black. I'm telling you. Stop calling yourself black. I'm telling you. It ain't gonna get you nowhere, right? You had houses and farms while they were boxcar children, right? They were boxcar children, orphans and shit. You had farms and stuff. Peace, Copper. Somebody's been lying. We love this series. We thought it was just fun and games. This shit was real. This shit was based on a true story. Orphans. They sent these orphans all over the place. A lot of them were orphans because when they got here, their families were so sick and they're in the quarters that they lived in, they just passed away. Got here on Ellis Island and all that shit, and they were sick and they were living in close quarters, getting each other sick and just dying. So they were sending their children all around the world to work in farms and stuff. Probably one of your ancestors' farms. And then when they got old enough, they killed your ancestor and then they took over the farm and stole your name. Oh shit. Right? Cabbage Patch Kids, right? Where were we? That leads us to where we were. Right? That leads us right back to where we were, right? Because remember, we were talking about manifest destiny, right? We had made it past the doctrine of discovery, and now we're talking about manifest destiny. But ooh, this word is diabolical. Oh my God, watch this. Manifest, clearly revealed to the eye or the understanding, open to view or comprehension, right? Kind of similar to the doctrine, kind of similar to discovery, right? To lay open to view, right? Tap your screen with your fingers and your toes. We're trying to get to 10 million likes, 85,000 shares. All right. If you're driving, pull over and tap the screen till your fingers fall off. And then you got to drive with your feet. All right. Look, watch this. All right. Evidence palpable or directly Latin manifestus, plainly apprehendable, clear, apparent, evident of offenses, proved by direct evidence of offenders caught in the act, right? Probably from manus, hand, from pi root, man, hand, right? Plus festus. Oh shit, this is where it gets deep. This is where it gets deep, right? Remember, y'all, pay close attention, right? Which apparently is identical to the second element of infest. Wait a minute, infest. Fuck. Talking about infestations. To attack, assail, hurt, distress, annoy, right? Infestar, to attack, disturb, trouble, from infestus, unsafe, hostile, threatening, dangerous, originally inexorable, not able to be handled, right? What is something that infest, right? Oh shit, sense of swarm over in large numbers, attack parasitically. So what is manifest destiny? Manifest destiny is an infestation. Oh, hey. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Yeah, I crafted these rings myself. Am I tripping, y'all? Manifest destiny is an infestation, right? We just broke down. See, that's the thing about words. Once you really break them down, I don't care what nobody tells you. It means what the word means. Fuck what they're talking about. You have to do the etymology, and then you'll see, right? And some people say, well, etymology is just like, it just tells you where the word comes from. But you got to remember, they can use the word in any sense that they want to use it, because all of these are true, right? All of these are true. If you look up the law says there's a such thing called defined terms. Does anybody know what defined terms is? Let me see if we could get to it real quick. Does anybody know what defined terms is? Huh? I'm gonna go to page 64. Let's see. Give me a second, y'all. All right. Now y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. It don't matter. We're gonna go over it right now. All right. This is a Annette Lawman article titled "Define Terms in Legal Documents: How They Work." Right. Defining a term gives that word or phrase a particular special meaning within the context of the legal document, and not the meaning that would be used in everyday language. So, does that mean that people can use words that you think mean one thing, but they really mean another? Does that mean that you could be having a conversation with two people that want to conquer you, and you think that they're saying one thing, but they're really saying another thing? Like, for instance, they could be like, do you understand? And you're like, oh yeah, I understand. But you're thinking understand means I get it, but understand literally means to submit. So when they're asking you if you understand, they're just asking you like, do you submit to me? Do y'all believe that could be true? Huh? Right? Because you know the word understand to mean that you comprehend something, while in other venues, your understanding can literally mean to occupy a space at a lower level, and figuratively to submit. Right? So I'm not just making this shit up. Right? Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. We're real far away from the 10 million likes. Shalom that we're supposed to be getting, right? So that's why we break the word down. Manifest, right? We broke it down. It told us to look up infest. We got to infest, right? Manifest, infest. It's an infestation, parasitically, right? Ain't that what they did? They came over here in large numbers and conquered shit and just started spreading everywhere like an infestation. And then they started eating off the work of your people and eating off the backs of everybody and stealing people's culture parasitically. Come on now. Shit is too easy. Shit is too easy, ain't it? Y'all see what we did there? We only been live for 2 hours and we done solved the fucking problem. We done figured this shit out. Y'all got to hang out with me more often. Hey, look, I apologize. I don't be going live that often, but I'm going to start going live more often, talking about this shit, because I like it. But we got to the bottom of the shit. Somebody's been lying. What I do is I get to the bottom of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do, right? The spiritual community has run with the word manifest, though it seems to have darker meaning than we expected. In reference to manifest destiny, the word infest is directly connected. Betray is also a word that is connected to manifest. Many wars, attacks have taken place on this land and against the people of this land, with manifest destiny at the helm. After successfully conquering and demonizing the original inhabitants of the East Coast, these invaders set their eyes on expanding all the way to the West. Oh yeah, peace, yo, Ron. It was good to have you, man. I appreciate the support. All right. This is based on Britannica.com about Manifest Destiny. Caught in the upheaval coincidental to the expansion, Southeast Indians succumbed to the pressure of spreading settlement by ceding their lands to the United States and then relocating west of the Mississippi River under President Andrew Jackson's removal policy of the 1830s. The considerable hardships suffered by the Indians in the episode were exemplified by the devastation of the Cherokees on the infamous Trail of Tears, which excited humanitarian protests from both the political class and the citizenry. Crazy. All right. Y'all feel me? All right. And then after they did that, what'd they do? They had to conquer you. They had to classify you as a Negro, change who you are, blah, 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 racial integrity, make fun of you, propagandize everything you do, make it seem like farming was some bullshit, but you're farming, you're playing music, and you're healing yourself, right? In Virginia, in Virginia, right? But the reason why they were able to do this is because you were dealing with a fucking bully the whole time, right? You thought it was like, oh, the white man did this and the white man did that. Nah, you were dealing with the bully. Who's a bully? Sweetheart, term of endearment applied to either sex, right? But it goes closer to brother, right? When y'all see this word, right? When y'all see this word, what does it make you think of? I know some of y'all be thinking. Some of y'all are thinkers. I know y'all be thinking. When y'all see this word, what does it make you think of? Secret society, maybe. Maybe it makes you think of the boule. All right, boule brings us uncomfortably close to a term that we are becoming more and more familiar with. Not all of the secret societies that exist consist of the so-called white man and woman. Some of these groups are full of people who looked exactly like you, but may not have the same worldviews. Bull would lead us to the infamous boule, right? But it's your brother, right? I am my brother's keeper, right? You feel me? Term of endearment, right? All skin folk ain't your kinfolk type of shit. Founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1904 by Dr. Henry McKee Minton and 5 others, the Boule, or Sigma Pi Phi, was a secret organization of elite so-called African Americans. The Boule are recognized as this nation's first Black Greek organization who choose members based on their accomplishments with a commitment to being exclusive. In a 2012 interview, political researcher and speaker Steve Coakley called the Boule an illegal criminal enterprise full of Black complicity in the centralization of worldwide power, the New World Order. Oh, shit. Put a 1 in the comments if you heard all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Coakley accused the Boule of being in cahoots with white power structures to keep wealth and power limited to a very small part of the population. In page 28 of the first Boule history book, it noted that it wanted to be like Skull and Bones at Yale. Coakley said, those societies and the Boule tend to make up an aristocracy in the terms of deputizing 10% of the population to assure that the 90% never catch on. Oh, shit. Is that what's going on? My big brother was Big's brother. My big brother, right? Jay-Z, he's a part of these secret societies. Maybe Kanye was trying to tell you something. My big brother, the bully, the goddamn Sigma Pi Phi secret society boule bitch ass niggas, right? Huh? Right? They said they wanted to be like Skull and Bones. Maybe society boule bitch ass niggas, right? Huh? Right? They said they wanted to be like Skull and Bones. Make you want to be like these individuals. Huh? Looking at this image, what would make you look at this and be like, "Ooh, that's what I want to be"? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, I want to sit at a table with bones on it and try to conquer the world and keep other people that look like me poor. What? Crazy. Who?
A grave on a food fight. If I was in front of you, you
Oh
wouldn't do nothing.
shit.
Stop
Puerto
it.
Ricans don't be. I never heard nothing about it. He's Cuban. I
Yeah, I'm
never.
Cuban too. Yeah.
Hey, don't
Whoever
speak
gave
on
him
Puerto Ricans.
devastating. Right? Let's. All right. Can y'all hear me? I wonder whose bones those are. I bet you those bones are the bones of indigenous people. Terrell on deck. Oh, what's up? Oh, I be having some cool ass people in my lives. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I be having some really, really cool individuals in here. I appreciate all the support. Tap the screen with your fingers and your toes. We're trying to get to 10 million likes. Sigma Pi Phi's mission is to uplift the communities that their members reside in. But the thing about the concept is that their members do not live in our communities. Their members consist of the elite who live among the oppressors and who are definitely not a part of the 90%. Oh shit, W.E.B. Du Bois and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. are two prominent figures who were also members of the Boule. Oh my God, not Dr. Martin Luther King, W.B. Du Bois. There is no coincidence that Dr. Martin Luther King was quoted saying, "I fear that I am integrating my people into a burning house." Where else would a secret society member integrate people who aren't part of their percentage? Some will stress the notion that he later in life had full change of heart. And that is truly why he was assassinated. I tend to agree with this. It was believed by Steve Coakley that W.E.B. Du Bois helped to sabotage black leaders and their movements. One of the leaders that W.E.B. Du Bois was accused of sabotaging was Marcus Garvey. This can be seen fairly, in my opinion, as good and bad simply because not all of us are descendants of Africans. So how could we return? Marcus Garvey was attempting to take people to a land that wasn't their own, which would have been which would have ended in a devastating loss for America's original inhabitants. If it is true that Du Bois sabotaged Garvey, there is no telling who else he may have sabotaged as well. Even though Marcus Garvey would have been stealing people from their original lands based on a historical fallacy, these secret societies would have still found it necessary to sabotage any form of empowerment whatsoever, right? So fuck Marcus Garvey, you know what I mean? But either way, you know, we know how to make the best out of the worst. So even if we would have listened to Marcus Garvey, went to Africa, did all that shit, we would have done some amazing things. So they still had to sabotage that. Why? Do y'all remember I said what would happen if we try to get away from them? Right? Epigenetics. What's gonna happen if we try to get away? What are they gonna do, everybody? Right? They can't let us leave. They need us. We don't, it's not the other way around, I promise you. I promise you it's not the other way around. All right. If we get away, they going back to this. All right. All right. Hey, look, I'm sorry. If we separate, they going back to this. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Somebody's been lying. About to get to the bottom of it. All right. But they had to fuck around, y'all. The truth will set you free, right? This is everybody knows who this is, Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? And all that shit, right? But listen, if you look at the bottom paragraph, it said African American had already shown up in the newest grade school textbooks before people agreed to the term. It was already in the grade school textbooks. So that means when the parents had not even agreed to the term and not voted for it or anything, they were in school already indoctrinating your children to be African American. It was already in the textbooks. They didn't care what you thought whatsoever. Don't that sound like a setup? You know why they do that? They give the information to your children in school, and they start off really early. So by the time your children go through the whole grade school shit, right? And you send them there, you're at work every day. They already don't trust you. Listen, they changed the way you do math. They changed all the history. They changed so many things. So when your child comes home from school and tries to ask you for help, you can't help them because they already changed everything. So now your child looks at you like, oh, you can't help me. So I'm going to believe what my teacher says. And then the teacher is going to tell them these lies, right? And then the way that they give the information, a lot of the shit the child don't even come home and tell you because the child just thinks it's normal. And then you pass away, right? So now that child that thought all this shit was normal, you pass away as a parent. Now they're the parent. They teach their child this shit at home. Now the school's like, we just have to give it to them one more time, and they got it, right? The parent taught the child. The child comes here. We reteach them. They go home. The parent agrees, and now we're working together on indoctrinating this child. Now the next generation, they don't even have to do nothing no more. We've embodied this information at that point. Full on indoctrination.
But hey, you're gonna respect me one way or another. So would I have done it if I was her? Yeah, I probably would have if it was one of my daughters. But would I go to
Yeah. All right. We got to look into those things. People are playing with you. All right. Somebody's been lying. All right. Guarantee it. Oh, we made it to 100K. Shout 100K. Shout. Remember, the people who don't believe you were eating corpses in 1910. All right. What were you doing in 1910? What were your family members doing? What were your family members doing in 1910? Hmm? I was born in 1987. I promise you, my grandmother wasn't eating corpses. My grandmother wasn't eating no goddamn corpses, y'all. I promise you. This is a Native American smoking and curing a human corpse. Historical and modern records show that cannibals have cured, smoked, and cooked human meat to preserve it or something, right? Right? So in 1910, they were preserving human meat to eat. Somebody's been lying. Smoking and curing human meat in 1910. Nigga, what? You feel me? What the fuck? Ain't no way. Diabolical. Diabolical. Right? But it's all good, right? It's all good because we talked about it. They indoctrinated our children, right? So that just takes us to the next chapter. We're not going to get into it today, so everybody should follow me because I'm going live tomorrow and we're going to talk about the next chapter, which is education, right? We're going to talk about the education system. We're going to break it down to a T. I'm not going to skip a beat. If y'all been in here my whole life, y'all know that I don't skip a detail, right? So tomorrow we're going to be talking about the education system, but we're not just going to talk about the issues. We're going to talk about the solutions. We're going to talk about every single state that exists and what you got to do to homeschool your children because ain't nobody fucking around. You feel me? Are you fucking around? Everybody put what state you're from. And I bet you I covered it. Tell me what state you're from. Put your state in the comments, right? What is education? The training of animals. Oh no, right? What is all this animal shit they got going on? What's up, Copy? What is all this animal shit? Shout out to South Carolina, Arizona, North Carolina. What else we got? California, Colorado, Delaware. What the hell? Texas, Tennessee. I love Tennessee. VA, Michigan. Yeah, shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody. All right. We're going to be talking about the education system. All right. We're going to break it down. Been homeschooling for 4 years now. I want you here tomorrow, yo, Ron, if you don't mind. Anybody that's homeschooling, man, I hope y'all come here tomorrow. Maybe we'll open a panel up and y'all could tell us about homeschooling. Y'all could tell us like what works best for you and all these different things, you know, because I know there's a whole lot that goes into it. Like not just like the legal part of it, but the materials, getting with other parents and all kind of stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be going live sometime between 3 and 4. I can't really give you a time. I got 3 children, so I just put them down for a nap, and whenever they finally are like quiet is when I go live. You feel me? So I can't do it. I can't do an exact time. I used to be able to do an exact time, but no, I can't do that. I got 3 of them things. 3 of them. Shit. Right? So that's what we're gonna get into. And they be restricting my live when I start talking about my book. But the live's over now, so I could do it now. Aha, somebody's been lying. Words of Spells and Curses available on Amazon. Go get your copy today. The live's over, TikTok. It don't matter if you restrict me now. I don't need nobody to share the live because it's over. So go to Amazon, get you a copy of Somebody's Been Lying, Words of Spells and Curses. You feel me? Yeah. And then, you know, we're gonna be on the topic of education tomorrow, page 126, right? So hey, look, that's because people fuck with me. People fuck with me, Copper. You know what I'm saying? When you tell the truth, that's just what be happening. #1 bestseller, right? In 3 different categories on Amazon. It's worth it. All right. Somebody's Been Lying, Words of Spells and Curses. Go get your copy today. And just make sure that if you go shopping that you get this book, right? Because I have published 3 books. So just make sure you get this one. Because if you only search my name, Peace Fine. Oh, you change your name. I like it. If you only search my name, this is gonna pop up, Poetic Pieces, and then this one is gonna pop up. This is part 1. Somebody's Been Lying, A Great American Deception. But this is the one that we're reading from right here. Somebody's Been Lying, Words of Spells and Curses. So if you want to get a copy, just make sure that you get this. So screenshot it if you need to. Damn. My cover is all beat up because I've been reading. I read my own book because it's so full of gems that I be reading it sometimes, and I just be like, damn, let me go check this shit out again. You feel me? 300 something pages, great gems. I got a bibliography in the back to let you know that I didn't just make a bunch of shit up on my own. I got sources, right? Because I know people like sources and shit these days, right? So come back tomorrow. Oh, now that the live's over, 60 people want to be in here. We were at 50, 55, 60 up and down, you know what I mean? Tap the screen, whatever the case may be. Now TikTok, they don't want to restrict me. I'm talking shit, but now they let me do it. Come on now, that's crazy. Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna be talking about education, y'all. And we're gonna do it just like we did today. We're gonna have a little bit of shit about education. We're gonna show some images and talk about the details. We're gonna ask some questions and do our thing. We didn't get to 10 million likes. I forgive y'all because y'all only got 10 fingers. I'm gonna need y'all to grow some more appendages so that y'all can tap the screen triple time next time. All right. Peace and abundance. I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right. Hey, look, Akira. Hey, look, when they come back, man, they need to have 5 arms. All right, they got to figure it out because we got to get to 10 million likes. All right, hey Copper, be here tomorrow. I appreciate you showing up today. I know y'all be getting tired or sometimes. Sometimes y'all like when y'all see me pop up on y'all screen, y'all be like, "Yo, thank God, Rashaud, I'm glad you're back. It's been so long since we seen." I get it. You know what I mean? I had to handle some things, but I'm here. I'm back. I'm going live again. You know what I mean? So don't fret, right? I know some of y'all were hurting inside, souls, your legs, your knees, right? But feel better. Somebody had a knee. They said they had painful knee-itis. They hit me up and said they had a knee-itis going on. I said, "What's that?" They said all the blood left my knee because I was down on my hands and knees praying to God that you would go live again. I said, "Damn, stand up." They said I can now. I could finally stand up again. They've been praying for 3 months. They had to feed them through a tube, and that's all right. I like the dedication. You said not too much. hey, hey, look, it is what it is. Hey, peace and abundance, y'all. I really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that joined. Peace and it's lovely. How you doing? Shout out to everybody that joined. For real. Hey, look, I'm sorry, Miss Michi. It is what it is. I can't control it. I told them to stand up. I said, stand up. I said, rise. Rise. What's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, look, people just be showing up. Oh, I finally got my restriction. I finally got my restriction. All right, y'all, it's time to go. They restricted me. Talking too much shit. hey, but this time I waited to the end. I learned my lesson. I waited to the end so they could restrict me when it don't matter. Haha, TikTok, I got you. Sons of bitches. Oh, they said I'm directing people all around that, like outside of the app and shit like that. Whatever the case may be. All right, y'all. Thank you, Tyrone.